Welcome to Manga Mavericks Ad Movies, the show where we talk smack and celebrate movies. We're going by that catchphrase still after how many episodes? 11?
Did we always have the celebrate movies part, though?
No, we didn't always have the celebrate movies. That's right, we did change it slightly. Because
Gasp!
we do criticize a lot of movies, but we also, we like a lot of the stuff we see. We say good things about them.
I think we have to go see more bad movies then.
Do we really need to?
Yes.
Well, what was the last bad movie we saw?
Ghost in the Shell?
Oh, dang, that's right. That was a long time ago. You're right.
Was it? That was like March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know when this podcast is being released, but, oh boy. Well, anyway.
The Ghost in the Shell one still hasn't been released, so it's gonna
at
be
the time of this recording, yeah. But,
yeah.
yes, we didn't see another bad movie today. We saw a really good movie, a movie that I enjoyed way more than I thought I would. We saw Black Butler, Book of the Atlantic.
Or as I like to call it, Black Butler, Attack of the CGI Zombies.
The zombies weren't CGI.
They were in some scenes.
In some scenes there were characters that were CGI, but like a lot of the time they were just traditionally drawn.
I don't know, it might have just been me, but a lot of the time when I was looking at the backgrounds, the zombies were CGI.
Well, in the backgrounds, maybe, but regardless of some of the movie's productional faults at parts, overall it was a really enjoyable movie. This movie is the first animated theatrical feature based on Black Butler after it had previously had a live-action feature, which, from what I know about it,
wasn't very good.
Well, not that so much as that it's like completely different from the series because it's about like a new protagonist who forms a contract with Sebastian, some girl. I don't know. It seems strange to me. I haven't seen it yet. Who knows? I'll watch it maybe one day. But yeah, this is first theatrical installment of Black Butler. It continues off from where the Book of Murder OVAs left off in adapting the manga. So it adapts like volumes 11 through 14, I think, of the manga, the Atlantic arc.
It's quite a bit of material.
Yeah, it didn't feel like that much, but just to recount my history with Black Butler a bit, I got introduced to it in 2010 in high school. And during the school anime club, if you remember that, Warren.
Let's not talk about that club.
Yeah, let's say the taste of that club was very pedestrian, very, they were very normie.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were fujoshi.
They also thought Cowboy Bebop was too violent for school. But then they showed SAO. SAO, the show that has molestation and rape. And they had no problem showing Black Butler, which was also pretty violent. And that's how I first discovered the show. They showed the first couple episodes of Black Butler. And, I wasn't necessarily that into it, but I guess something about it intrigued me. I guess just, the concept of Sebastian and Ciel's relationship was intriguing enough. Sebastian being, a demon from hell, forms a contract with Ciel, that he'll eat Ciel's soul after Ciel has achieved his revenge, and Sebastian helps him do that. So, Sebastian basically is bound to Ciel until Ciel achieves his goal and gets his revenge, and only then can he eat him, and until then he's basically starving, wanting to devour his soul, but can't devour any other souls until he fulfills his contract with Ciel. So it's really interesting. There's a lot of tension in their relationship at the start, it seemed, and it was which the fangirls view as sexual tension for some reason.
Yeah, I never got that. Especially since Ciel is a pretty, straightforward, straight heterosexual relationship.
Yeah.
He has a girl.
He's engaged.
He is engaged, and the love is mutual, so. Yeah, but, so I didn't watch more of the anime. I actually have not seen any Black Butler anime besides those first 4 episodes of the first season, but I read the manga, and, but actually, the Book of the Atlantic, this arc, was the arc that I caught up on. It was the arc that was running after I caught up to the series. So I got to read the series from that point and this arc as it was going. And it was pretty interesting because as you saw, this arc was a huge turning point in the story in so many ways, with some major dramatic changes. And I think this arc, following after Book of Circus and Brick and Mortar, both were excellent in their own ways. Like, really sold me on Black Butler. And while outwardly I would always say, oh, Black Butler, yeah, I just like it as a guilty pleasure, honestly, Black Butler is actually really, really good. There's some really strong character development, characterization, and some cool action, some cool characters, funny moments. Like, Black Butler is a good time. There are no strings attached, no caveats, just straightforward good. And anyone who tells you otherwise is being unfair.
Or they've just seen the anime, maybe?
Or they've just seen the anime. I think the anime, from what I've heard, goes in a direction that it's a little more pandering, and it isn't as good in terms of
it tries to overemphasize the yaoi fan bait.
Yeah. Definitely the anime is a little more pandering to the audience of the series, which is actually shonen, but even so, it has a large female fan base, which, maybe to explain our teeter audience here, our teeter going experience, safe to say, there were a lot of women. It was pretty much 90% women.
I saw a whopping 2 guys, and one of them was on a date.
Yeah, one of them was clearly there with his girlfriend, who dragged him to it.
Yeah.
And then there was just one guy who went by himself, who I guess was also in the Black Butler. But those were the only other 2 guys there.
Like behind us, there was sitting a middle school girl and her mother, and her mother was asking hey, honey, why is all these people, why is this entire theater full with girls? And she's like, because Sebastian is hot. And she's he's a 2D character. It's you could just see the expression on her face. It was so funny.
Oh boy.
Just reacting to all these anime fangirls.
Yeah, but there was also I think 2 friends who were behind us that one of them had no experience with anime really, and was just it was kind of just brought there to be with her friend and whatever. So I thought, wasn't there 2 girls behind us? One of them, I heard these girls talking a lot. One of them had no experience with anime or whatever.
That was the mother and daughter.
Are you sure it was a mother and daughter?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Either way, by the end of the movie, the person who had no knowledge of Black Butler at all, she was super into it. She was saying, wow, I never knew I wanted that in my life, but it was really dang good. I loved everything about it. I loved The Undertaker. Lots of praise from that person who had never seen Black Butler before and had very little exposure to anime, which speaks to the testament of how widely appealing this film is, as you could relate to, since you, Wee Lord, had no prior exposure to Black Butler before this film.
Okay. For context, I have had exposure to Black Butler, but say it was mainly just the anime and the anime club. So I've seen probably 2 or 3 episodes of the Black Butler anime, and then I actually did read the Cricket, the one story arc with Cricket in the manga out of pure curiosity, because I like Cricket.
Yeah.
Why can't we have more Cricket manga?
I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing that animated, which will probably happen one day.
A1 Pictures, please. Yeah. Please.
You're finally doing good by the Black Butler series now, if this film is any indication. I've heard good thing about how Book of Murder and Book of Circus were handled.
I hear they're pretty just faithful manga adaptations, kind of like Kyoto Saga.
Yeah,
for Blue Exorcist.
Honestly, I'm so jazzed up. I'm so back into Black Butler now that I probably will finally watch those because I feel like revisiting. But yeah, so, going into this, I haven't read the Book of the Atlantic arc, since I first read it, when it was first running, in 2010, 2011. So it's been 6 years. And with Black Butler itself, I haven't been reading the series for the last year and a half.
Yen Press is simulpubbing it, right?
They are simulpubbing it, and as I've moved away from reading scanlations, I just have no interest in that anymore. I only read official manga now, so I could be reading Black Butler, but it's also $2 a chapter.
Oh.
And it is a monthly series, so that's, but still, I feel I might as well just read its two graphic novels, so I'm just waiting for those.
I mean, Black Butler goes on a pretty consistent schedule, so reading the volumes for that makes sense.
Yeah, so I will definitely continue Black Butler, reading its two volumes, even if I'm not reading current chapters right now. But, I am a fan. I would say, unquestionably I am a fan. And this movie reminded me why I like Black Butler so much, because there's, so much great characterization and character development. There's, fun humor. The premise of this arc is genius. It's Titanic with zombies. You're combining Titanic with a zombie thriller. It's a genius premise. You're on, the open ocean. You're, completely alone. And there's these monsters on board. And they're all gonna come after you. It's incredibly claustrophobic. There's, incredible stakes. It's insane. It's, a genius premise that I can't believe. I'm sure it's been done before, but I have never seen it before. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And, man, there's some, we'll talk a little bit. How would we talk about, the production level of this movie? Because, this is a theatrical movie, but honestly, it doesn't look that much better than a TV series.
Yeah. It looks like how I remember the TV show looking. About the same.
And, there's some really cheap animation at times, and, some stuff that just absolutely not theatrical quality at all, even by anime standards.
I'd say the action scenes, though. The action scenes look nice.
Yeah, the action scenes look really nice. That's the highlight of the film.
Yeah.
When they're all fighting zombies, or when, the characters are just fighting each other, those scenes are just a real treat and really exciting. Just really high quality stuff.
Yeah, it kind of remind me of kind of the Ufotable style of animation, where Ufotable, they kind of focus a lot on the characters themselves and their movements, and then have the entire background be CG. But from how it's animated, you don't necessarily notice that CG in the background.
I'm not surprised that the action was so good, because this is directed by Noriyuki Abe of Yu Yu Hakusho fame.
Okay, that explains it.
Even though some of the shows he worked on, Bleach, aren't necessarily great shows because of the
writing. They have good action.
Yeah, the action direction is really good. If you actually look at the action direction in those shows, he's a good action director. And this has some great action scenes that are definitely signature Abe. There's even some experimental stuff that I know he likes to let his staff run with.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a treat too. The puppet theater imagery, the cinematic reel showing memories, all really great stuff.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. And so why don't we talk about just the main big parts of this movie, what it introduces into the series? Because it introduces a new Reaper in the name of Ronald Knox.
Is he a recurring character?
He starts becoming a recurring character after this point. It brings back Grell, finally.
Grell was the girl, right?
Grell wasn't...
Oh, Grell was the...
Grell is the Reaper who's super gay for some
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah. So, Grell is, pretty iconic as an antagonist because he has more of a role in the anime before this.
Yeah, I remember seeing him quite a bit in the anime.
Yeah, he has more of a role in the anime, the first two seasons of the anime. But in the manga, he was, the main antagonist of, the Madame Red arc, which, kind of to explain, Black Butler in terms, the Black Butler arcs in terms of, how significant they are and as, benchmarks for, the series' improvement over time. Because Black Butler starts out very episodic and low stakes and it's not, that interesting. But the Madame Red arc is kind of, the R-line part, because that's where, the stakes are super personal and, the story is really engaging and it's just that's the moment where you decide, okay, I want to continue with this, or you decide it's not for you. So,
correct.
Yeah. And so, that introduces Grell, that, Madame Red, by the way, Lord, in case you don't, know who that is. You know, in that character in the film, who had red hair in the flashbacks, the woman with red hair, during the flashback scenes?
Yeah.
So that's CL's aunt.
Oh, okay.
And so she, for various, reasons, became a serial killer, working alongside Grell. But she couldn't bring herself to kill Ciel, and so Grell killed her. And so it was very tragic because Ciel, lost the last remaining family member he had. And so that's, why that arc is so memorable.
Huh.
Aside the fact that Grell himself was introduced, he was simultaneously hilarious, but also, a good, villain.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So they finally bring back Grell, who has amazing scenes, when he recreates the famous, I'm the king of the world scene on the Titanic, and, his consistent banter with, Sebastian, trying to flirt with him while simultaneously trying to kill him. Grell's amazing. Grell is hilarious. Great. It was great that he was in this movie, in this arc. And so, so that was significant, that him coming back. Of course, one of the biggest things is Elizabeth, finally revealing, she's actually kind of a badass, which is amazing because, I think you could appreciate this because, at the beginning of the movie and throughout, the first half of this movie, she's presented as this, stereotypical, upper high-class girl who's, very prim and proper.
Yeah.
And, doesn't seem like she can defend herself and has to rely on others, and she seems very childish. She refuses to take off her coat and clothes, to crawl through, the gutter thing. And, because she always wants to look cute for Ciel, and Ciel's he rips her clothes and
he goes full savage.
Yeah, he's no, dude, you can worry about looking good later. You gotta live right now, man. And she's okay, I was acting silly, I'm sorry. And Ciel's I'm sorry for acting so boorishly. And yeah, so, Ciel and Lizzie have some really cute romantic moments in this movie. I really appreciated those. But, there's all this build-up. Lizzie is presented as kind of weak, kind of immature. And so you don't, expect anything of her. And, and so you get into this moment. Ciel's leg is broken. He can't do anything. And, zombies are all encroaching on Lizzie and Ciel. And they're, gonna totally kill them. And Lizzie, resigns herself. She, smiles at Ciel, starts tearing up, and she says, I'm sorry, Ciel. I want to stay cute for you until the end. And so the zombies close in on her, and you think, oh crap, Lizzie's gonna die. This is gonna be a big, another loss for Ciel. But no, she, fucking stabs a bunch of zombies right through the head, grabs swords off the wall and starts, wrecking their shit. She, fucking fucks them up. It's, amazing. Oh my god, It's such a great acting scene. It's so awesome. Oh, it's such a great, twist that she can actually, fight and, she has this really, the reason why she hides that she can fight and she's actually bad is kind of silly, but it makes sense for a character because, she is just so obsessed with Ciel and Ciel liking her that she didn't want to scare him away. So I can kind of get it, and it's also not, I don't think it's sexist at all because, she has a lot of agency on her own. She makes her own choices, so it's,
Yeah.
And even when, Sebastian, knocks her out, so, she doesn't follow them to, fight whoever at the end and leaves her in the care of her brother. That makes sense on their perspective because they don't want to let her, get hurt even though she can't fight. So, and it's not, and after this arc, she does do stuff. So, she hasn't been relegated to silence. This isn't her own good moment. So, but it's just such a good moment. It's such a good backstory and it really adds so much layers to this character who, before this, you maybe just thought as this one note, romantic love interest, but no, she has just so much more to her. And it's awesome. And I loved it. It's so good. It's just so good. What was your reaction to this scene?
I was oh shit. Yeah, she can fight. Huh.
Yeah.
It's it was cool. Since I wasn't familiar with all the characters, it probably didn't have as much impact for me compared to, maybe other people who were watching the film who hadn't read the manga. It was still cool. It's she's not just a damsel in distress. She can actually, hold her own in a fight.
And this was not the only huge twist regarding a character. Because the other, completely game-changing twist that happens in this movie is the reveal of the Undertaker's true identity as a former Reaper, and he becomes, the main antagonist of the series after this point. It's like an Eisen level twist reveal. It's like mind-blowing, because The Undertaker before this was like a comedic supporting character. Like, he didn't seem like someone that important. He was just like someone to like give CL advice or trinkets or whatever. Like, he didn't call attention to himself as someone who was a schemer or like orchestrating like some mass conspiracies in the background. But like this movie, like, man, like the reveal of him as like the one who is responsible for creating these zombies, why he did it, how he did it, and like the insane level of strength that he has, like, it's just mind-blowing. And it's like, man, like, even his sight is just so cool, the reveal of his sight. Like, like, it's an amazing moment, because, like, you know, the Reaper sights, nothing's supposed to be able to cut them or not be able to be cut by them aside from the Reaper sight. And so when you realize, oh crap, and you see, and he reveals that he has a Reaper sight, it's like insanely big, and it's like made out of a skeleton!
Yeah, it's like a fucking skeleton's like the staff part.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my god! It's like, and he's like the first villain, The Undertaker. He's like the first villain in the series to like really seriously hurt Sebastian. Like, he's the first villain in the series to defeat Sebastian, really. And it's like, that's a huge shocking moment in of itself. Sebastian getting impaled by his sight. It's like, holy crap. Like,
yeah.
The Undertaker is the real deal, man. It's like, oh, so good. Such a good villain. Like, and like John Swayze's performance, we watched the dub, by the way.
Yeah. Good dub.
Yeah, good dub overall, though, you know, I feel like at some point some of the accents were, I think Funimation doesn't do accents that well, honestly.
Yeah, I mean.
And, Jeremy Lay as Elizabeth, like, sometimes when she's, like, squealing and, like, yelling, sometimes can be a little grating. But, like, when she's being, like, super serious and dramatic with the character, it's, like, super good. So,
yeah.
Humor can be hit and miss sometimes. Accent can be hit and miss sometimes. But, like, at the core drama parts and, like, as voices for the characters, really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Like, that is best displayed with The Undertaker, because there is a huge change in, like, how he talks and, like, the tone of his voice when he goes from his, like, comedic role into his big, dramatic, big boss villain role. It's like, wow, holy crap, that really sells, like, the entire, like, shift that this character is, like, gonna be our big bad now.
Mm.
And, yeah, like, the movie doesn't end with them defeating him, because he, to this day, is still in the shadows, and, like, he's probably gonna be the end boss.
The sequel bait.
Yeah. Kinda, although probably gonna take several seasons until we get a resolution to The Undertaker, but yeah, in this movie, he's really great. And I think, like, finally, one of the biggest things in the movie is just this overall, like, revelation, the flashback of, like, Sebastian and CL's, like, early days, and, like, how they got to know each other and come to respect each other.
But so they had never shown that, like, stuff before?
Not in the anime. I mean, this was in the manga, of course, but yeah, so we see the origin of, like, Sebastian and CL's relationship. We see, like, you know, Sebastian grow, like, to respect CL a little bit and, like, kind of be more empathetic towards him, even though, you know, overall his goal is still to eat his soul.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't change, but he does gain respect for him. And CL, like, teaches Sebastian, like, to not overly rely on his magic and do things for himself, like challenging him by attacking his pride and saying, you know, if you're my butler, you can do all this without having to use dark powers, and you can do this right. And, like, Sebastian takes up the challenge, and, like, you see in this great montage, like, how they start improving each other, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's, like, a really good foundation for, like, CL and Sebastian's relationship, and, like, how important and dependent they've become on each other, like, both of them, like, really value each other now. And it's not, like, a romantic thing, but it's, like, this really cool, like, friendship.
But the fan base says it's a romantic thing, so it must be true.
No. I mean, I don't know why you would want ship CL and Sebastian when you can have CL and Lizzie after this movie, because, like, this movie is so good for if you're a CL and Lizzie guy, you know? But, I don't really care either. I mean, I think they're cute, honestly. I think CL and Lizzie are cute. Like, I would go for that.
You always gotta date the guy who wants to kill you.
Yeah, the guy who wants to literally eat your soul.
Yeah.
No, but, yeah, so there's so many good things in this movie, and, like, just the experience watching it, revisiting this material after so long, and, like, and revisiting Black Butler after so long, it's like, it was really, really good experience to do. I mean, it, like, rekindled, like, some nostalgia, some memories, and it's like, man, I want to get back into Black Butler somehow. I feel, one of the great things about seeing, like, a movie like this, based on a franchise you've had a long history with, is that after seeing it, it might inspire you to, like, want to revisit that franchise and just go back and rewatch, like, so much of it. I felt this way after seeing One Piece from Gold. I felt this way after seeing Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side of Dimensions. It's a great experience to have. It's great when a movie can inspire you to see, okay, yeah, this is as good as I remembered it. I want to go back and, like, relive it all over again. And, yeah, this movie is a movie I also want to watch again. I definitely think I might pick up, like, the Blu-ray when it comes out, because I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I have no clue if it'll make my year list, but I don't know if it was one of the best movies I've seen so far. But
I mean,
like,
there's some really good anime movies coming out this year.
Yeah, but in terms...
Say Night Heaven's Feel.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. But in terms of enjoyment, like... Man, this was so enjoyable. I really liked it, you know. Black Butler, this is one of the best arcs in Black Butler, I think, and the movie did it right, and it just flew by. Like, it just hits the ground running. Like, within the first 10 minutes, the zombies show up, and then after that, it's just non-stop awesomeness, and action, and character development, and it's just so substantial, but stylish at the same time. It's just a really good franchise film movie. I liked it a lot. Good adaptation. I definitely would recommend it to you if you're a Black Butler fan. Easily. And, I don't know, I guess, from your perspective, you enjoyed it quite a bit as someone who never saw Black Butler before, or had little experience with it. So, hey, maybe this would be like a good introduction point into the franchise to try it out. Because, honestly, I think it does, like, explain just enough.
It has a literal backstory for CL and Sebastian, so that helps for sure.
Yeah.
But even then, like, I feel Black Butler's not, like, confusing enough, where, like, if you start, like, midway anywhere, like, you'll be, like, completely lost. Like,
yeah.
Maybe it might be helpful that I have seen a little bit of it, so I have, like, a very basic understanding of what it's about. But even then, it was still very easy for me to follow, even though there were a lot of characters I hadn't heard of before.
Yeah, I think it helps that a lot of the supporting cast was gone. Like, the only one of CL's servants that accompanied him was Snake. Oh man, we didn't even talk about Snake. This arc is also important because this is, like, the first, like, arc where Snake is a member of CL's, you know, crew, basically. Like, cause Snake was kind of an antagonist in the previous two arcs. But at the end of the Book of Murder arc, like, CL invited him to be a member of his, like, crew, which, you know, is kind of messed up because CL killed all of his friends.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the Book of Circus is really dark. But, yeah, so, anyway, Snake is, like, a member of CL's crew at this point. And this is the first, like, movie which kind of shows him, like, as a part of that. And, like, he has a lot of really good scenes. It's like, yeah, this is my first time seeing how his, like, talking through a snake's thing works in animation, and, the comedic timing of it was pretty well done. A lot of people laughed a lot at those moments.
Yeah. It was nice.
Yeah. It's really good. What can I say? This movie is good. Watch it if you haven't, when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah, shouldn't be too long, hopefully.
Yeah. I wonder if they're gonna do the rest of Black Butler as films, or if they'll make another season or something. But I have to imagine they'll make a season out of the the Royal Academy arc thing that arc has.
I think it's going to be something on an arc by arc basis, like depending on how long the arc is. Like this, like you said, this one was 3 volumes, so it was just short enough to fit into a film without being too rushed.
Yeah.
But say like something like Book of Circus, which kind of required like a 13 episode 1-course season.
And then they did Book of Murder as
2 OVAs.
1 hour OVAs.
Were they 1 hour?
Yeah, they were 1 hour each.
Okay, yeah.
So, honestly, they could have made that into a movie.
Yeah, they could have made that into a 2-hour
But
film.
this was a really great choice of an arc to make into a movie because it is, like, epic and it's, like, super fun and it's, like, this... And it's, like, a great point for people to get into it, even if you haven't seen previous Black Butler material. So, yeah, I guess we'll just move later.